When you plant Wyffels Hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Wyffels.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of InCYde Zone here at Cycling Fanatic, presented by our friend Wyffels Hybrids and Iowa State University Ivy College of Business. As usual, I'm joined by Colin Newell, Jake Resmburg, and Jirehl Brock. Iowa State is officially ranked number 18, officially 3-0 after taking down Arkansas State 52-7. Guys, we're officially at the end of non-conference. What were your takeaways from yesterday?
I am excited for Big 12 play.
Yeah, thank God for that stuff. Holy cow.
Yeah. Excited to play some meaningful football.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, my initial takeaways, first, I have to shout out those fans that stuck it out yesterday through the whole 4 quarters because I was in there and I was struggling. That was really hot. I don't do well in hot environments, and I was sweating all afternoon.
You don't do well in cool environments, too.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely, I do. But I mean, shout out to the fans that stuck it out there. That's not fun. It's way cooler on the sidelines, by the way. And you're like kind of expecting to sweat when you're playing in a football game, and you got all those fans. You can spray yourself with water all afternoon. In the stands, that's not fun at all. So shout out those fans that stuck it out. But in all honesty, the game. That was an ass beating, and it was awesome. It was fun to watch. Every phase of the game, they showed a clip from the locker room after the game on their social medias, and Campbell's right. That was a team win, straight up a team win. I was impressed. It's fun to kill teams like that, but overall, that was a good day.
When you guys have played in similar games, what does it feel like when you get to go in there and literally kind of, just absolutely, like you said, an ass whooping? Like, what's that like when you guys are on the field?
It's the best when you get to see some of those guys who don't get to play a ton go out there and play and ball out, and you get to feel good. Like when you take 15, 20 snaps off your body after a game, you feel it the next day. When you go into Big 12 set play and you can say, hey, we played, 40 plays or 50 plays instead of 70 or 80 plays, you are so thankful for that next week because you got a little more juice in your legs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when you're doing that practice stuff. So I think Jake hit on it really well. Obviously, it is so much hotter in the stands, and I will 100% attest to that too. Between the fans, all that stuff, and you are prepared, like you're locked into the game. You don't even realize what's really going on when it's hot like that. So that was cool. And then special teams, I thought, were a huge part of the day yesterday. Obviously, we had a couple of big punt returns by Jalen Noel. Obviously, DP came out and made some noise there 4 years in a row. What a cool stat to have for him. So on to Big 12 play.
Dog.
Is there a record for that? Like most
block
punts in a career?
Yeah, there's a kid from like Central Michigan who had like 10.
What?
4 in one game.
I'm not even punting at that point. I'm just trying to go for it on 4th down.
I was about to say we got to find DP some NCAA record to break or something because
I feel like it's got to be 4 years in a row.
That's got to be a record.
Blocking a punt in a row is impressive.
We're gonna lock it in right now. It's an NCAA record. Someone can stash it.
Might as well make a new record.
Make a new record just for DP because that's awesome. That's so cool, and he's really good at it. So
special teams, and then you see how that kind of just plays in to him being good on special teams. Just plays into him getting more time on the defensive side of the ball, and he's taking advantage of all those opportunities that he's getting, especially like we saw a couple weeks ago in Iowa City. 2 interceptions. He's just taking those opportunities and. Now they know anytime the DP's lining up on the line, he's probably going to be going after a block on a punt, and they're going to be scheming for that.
Yeah.
Well, according to notes from Matt Schultz, the SID for Iowa State football, with his blocked punt this weekend, it was the 4th blocked kick of his career. He has blocked a kick in 4 consecutive seasons, which joins Nick Leaders as the only known players in program history with 4 blocked kicks in their career. His 4 blocked punts are the most by any active player in FBS, and he is one of 7 FBS players since 2012 to block 4 punts or more.
There we go.
He's literally
That's a
built
game
for
changer.
It. Long and fast. Built for it.
You remember
That's-
was it who blocked the one against Baylor in 2020?
That was DP. Well, no, it was Landon.
Landon.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
Landon
was
did,
Landon
yeah.
Akers.
Landon did.
DP ran by him, made him fake it, and then kick
Right,
again.
right.
Yeah.
Because that's right. I mean, those are game changer plays, dude. Like to block a punt that flips the field.
Flips the field. So especially, I mean, yeah, the offense takes pride in getting the ball at the 30-yard line instead of the opposite 30.
Yeah, I think punt's one of those underrated plays where, like, when you can block it, or even a big return in that case, like where you can shorten that offensive field, like we already feel like, hey, our offense essentially has already moved the ball 40, 50 yards in some situations where they don't pin you deep or something like that. It makes a huge difference in, like, when you feel like you're going downhill as an offense and you have that short field, it is a huge difference for you.
Allows the playbook to open up too. I mean, there's a totally different playbook when you're backed up in 10, 15-yard line and opposed to you're going in on your own 30, 40. Like it opens the playbook. You can do different things. So yeah, it's really, really game changer.
Well, and clearly that didn't really stop him yesterday, right? Like I feel like up until the end of the game, it seemed like Coach Mouser was really just kept running it. It was honestly pretty fun to watch. Like I was curious what it would be like once all the young guys got in there, but they kept the pace. They kept it entertaining. They almost had a shutout win. I was really hoping for it when they were going into halftime with them not having allowed Arkansas State to score at all. But according to John Walters, he went back and counted over 83 guys played in yesterday's game or Saturday's game, depending when people listen to this. From that perspective, really, what do you guys think Iowa State can take away from this as they head into Big 12 competition?
Well, one, that's like a crazy stat. 83 guys. I mean, that's like getting
Yeah.
into your like three deeps pretty much that are going out there and playing a football game. So that's a huge thing, huge for the program to say kids can go out there and play young, right? It may not mean full reps, but did any of you guys play as true freshmen?
Yeah,
Red shirt. But
I
Jirehl
played
true
as
freshman.
true.
So you
I played
played in your
against
four
UL.
games.
Yeah, I played in my 4. I played
Yeah.
against ULM and then Baylor, bowl game, and then I forget the other one, to be honest
Yeah,
with
so
you.
that's huge. I think that's something that people don't like draw enough attention to now. I feel old talking about it, but like my freshman year when you redshirted, you couldn't do that. So
Mhm.
that's a great thing
You
that
had
they've
to
done.
you had
So
to sit out all 0.
so people can like actually like get reps, see how the game speed is like. And Coach Mouse didn't really seem like he had to change the playbook much when some of those younger guys came in. So that shows great depth for the future that guys are being able to perform at a high rate and kind of get used to Coach Mauser's play call and flow games.
Absolutely. And it makes a huge difference on Sundays. It's so much fun when you go in on a Sunday because Sundays aren't really fun. You have to go in and lift and watch film. But when you can go in on a Sunday and, those people that don't play all the time, you get to talk to them about their plays they made, and it makes for a way better team environment on Sunday, which gives you some confidence. It gives you some juice heading into Big 12 play. So, I mean, I'm sure they had a lot of fun with it today, just talking with other guys about their plays and, stuff like that. So.
No,
Do you guys-
I totally like it better when, those young guys get to go in the game and they don't take their foot off. They don't start playing conservative. So you
100%.
get to really see what those young guys are about. And coaches take all that time like in game because it's different when you're in practice. Coaches see you, they know that you're doing good in practice, but when you get in that game and you're able to perform in there, they use that as an evaluation time. And that's how you'll see once we get into Big 12 play, you might see some guys that you didn't see against Iowa or the week before because they saw them playing the game and they say, okay, they can hang out here with, they might be young, but they can play. And that's huge for those young guys, especially when they don't take their foot off the gas when they get in the game.
When you guys look back, I thought of this when I was kind of going through just like things that happened yesterday. Of course, it was like a really big deal seeing Carson Hansen get his first touchdown of his career. Do you guys remember like the moment you had your big first key moment in your collegiate career? Like, can you still look back and remember that exact moment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I got thrown in there. I don't think there's any really key moments for offensive linemen, so to say, like scoring a touchdown. But
Yeah, I was
I remember
I think just
my
playing for offensive lineman is like a big key moment, to be
right.
honest.
Hey, but I remember my first couple of pancakes out there, and you take pride in those things. I remember it was a 3-tech against Texas Tech. It was a backside run play, and I mean I took that guy for a ride, so I'll always remember that play for sure.
Was that your first game, Jake?
Yep, first game, and I was gassed. I was so gassed. I mean, the
Because your adrenaline's rolling, yeah.
right, and it takes a while to get adjusted to that because I remember like literally sitting looking at Daryl at the sidelines, and I'm like, "Are you this gassed? Like, why am I so gassed? Like, I can't breathe." He's like, "Oh, you get used to it. It just comes with it." So, but that's another thing, getting those young guys in, you get those butterflies, adrenaline things out of the way. So even early in the career, so.
Yeah, I remember my first game against ULM. I didn't score that game, but I had a few good runs, and I remember I had a play where I was lead blocking, and
That play was crazy. That play was wild.
Was that for Real?
Not Landon was coming around on the jet sweep, and I led block for him and cracked some linebacker.
I gotta find that clip again now that you say that because that play was awesome.
But then I also remember my first touchdown. That was against Kansas. We had a 2 running back set. I went out I checked to see if any was coming. They dropped 8. I went off into the flat and caught a touchdown that way. And then I also remember my first rushing touchdown, which was against TCU. It was a long, like 43-yarder. It was the game that Brees broke the record for.
Because you got the touchdown first.
Yeah,
that day.
I got the first.
Yeah, and we were all like, "Dude, Jirehl, that was supposed to be for Brees, man."
Yeah, offensive linemen don't have those cool experiences. I mean, it's just getting to play really is the first thing. But mine was for South Dakota State in the rain game. That was the longest game of my life.
Oh my god!
We go out there, we score a touchdown. I think it was a Deshaunte Jones long reception there. And then it's literally like, all right, we went in the locker room. We're up 7-0. I finally was like, all right, I'm not freaking out anymore. Like, we're playing football. Here's all we're doing. Practice is faster than this. And then, it was like,
was that your redshirt freshman year?
Yeah. Go out there, sit in the locker room for 6 hours, and then they're like, all right, we're done. And it's like, okay, we went home. It's pouring, lightning's everywhere. There's like Twitter clips of like Iowa State fans like running. The student section was running all over the place. I remember being like, there's no way we can go back out there and play the game. So yeah, that was my first experience. And I remember like after like getting out there being like, all right, I can do this. But definitely like that first couple reps where you're like that.
Absolutely.
You're breathing way too hard. You're like so exhausted, but hey, it was good. I ended a touchdown, but didn't count, unfortunately.
No, you get out there in the bright lights, you see all the people in the stands. It's a different feeling than when he was in high school.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. A lot more theatrics that go into it with the fire and the music and everything like that. That's makes your hair stand up a little bit.
And the band. You can't forget about the band.
Can't
Come on
forget
now.
about the band.
I mean, we had band in high school, bro.
But I know, but it's just a little louder, a little more different in college.
No, my band was, I ain't gonna lie, my high school band was probably better than the ISU band. No cap.
Really good.
That's bold.
Yeah.
That is bold. Dude.
It is bold, but I'm gonna stand by it too.
Well, hey, take pride in it.
Other guys that had some moments in the game not yesterday. People are going to listen to this on Monday. In Saturday's game, Jalen Noel has caught a pass in 35 straight games, 4th longest streak in school history, 4th longest active streak in the country. And Jaden Higgins has caught a touchdown pass in 5 straight games, which ties the school record with Ty. Is it Watley? And Todd Blythe, friend of the program.
Nice.
So, fun moments for those guys. What are your guys' thoughts on, Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins and the way they've kind of done in the course of these 3 games heading into some of the best games of the season, right? How have you guys seen them progress and really make an impact so far?
Dynamic duo. I mean, you can put them up there with the best wide receiver duo in college football. They're gonna go out there and make plays as long as they get the targets. They're gonna, as you saw with Jaden Higgins and Jalen, you just throw the ball to them. They're gonna find a way to come down with it. You get them the ball, they're in space, they're gonna make a play. Rocco has a really good connection with both of them, and I'm just excited to see how far they can take this team this year, especially with this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It's both of those stats are impressive stats. Obviously, 5 games with a touchdown in a row and 35 games in a row with a reception are two things to certainly hold your hat on, and something that proves their just consistency. I think that's something that obviously is something that separates a lot of people. Is, hey, can you go out there and do it one game, or can you go out there and do it 35 games in a row? And then that's just something huge, obviously, that makes a world of difference for a team, knowing that they have consistency out of those guys. And Jalen, I said earlier, Jalen on punt returning yesterday, I thought did a phenomenal job. Certainly flipped the field a couple times, and that does make a huge difference and obviously really help out the offense. So I thought that was one of his games that I thought he really made an impact on the game that way.
Yeah, I don't think people really understand like how good like 10 yards on a punt return is. Like just like I don't know, it helps a lot,
huge.
especially
Helps
the
a lot.
offense just being backed up.
Yeah, but I think you hit it on it, Noel. Consistent. Those guys, those two are consistent guys, and they're like that in practice too. They practice like that. Those guys, what you see on Saturdays with Jalen and Jaden, they're practicing like that, and so that's what's fun for guys like us to see is we saw them practice and we saw the work they put in to do things like that. So it's really cool to see them go out and continue to do it. But yeah, it all comes down. They are just consistent guys. They practice like that. They lift like that. They watch film like that. And those are the rewards you get for doing things like that. So
I think one thing that's really cool about Jalen is Jalen played when he was young. I remember when he came in as a freshman and like he would work his ass off. Like everyone was like, he's one of those guys that like demanded that he played. Like he made it so obvious that he needed to be on the field. I remember like he would be like doing like winter workouts and stuff, and like him and X would be going against each other. And like it was like, damn, this dude's actually kind of hanging with this guy. Like, how is he? He's still early enrollee, I think, maybe even right away there in freshman summer. That it's like that dude works hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can tell, but when he came in though, you could tell that the coaches knew that he was gonna play because of how he prepared himself before he even got there. I mean, he came in looking like had already been there for a summer. Just strength wise, he just looked bigger than a freshman would, even in that small, compact body that he has.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, a really big storyline that came out of yesterday. I keep saying yesterday, even though we're going to listen to this on Monday.
It was
yesterday.
On Saturday.
We're just
recording it on a Sunday.
Saturdays. Yesterday. You're right.
You are right.
I know. It's just a habit. I need to stop. But anyways, Coach Campbell officially ties with Dan McCarney for most program wins. But before we get into that, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Wyffels Hybrids, who's the presenting sponsor of our podcast here. They are an independent U.S. farm family-owned business. They truly believe in treating their business and their customers like family, something they've done since being founded, which was over 75 years ago. Their main mission is to help corn growers produce a more productive and profitable crop. And of course, they're huge supporters of Iowa State Cyclones and us here, since they are big supporters of Cyclone Fanatic. So, like I said, diving into Matt Campbell's big accomplishment, he tied the most wins in program history. You guys played for him. So I would really love to hear, what's it like for you guys to see him accomplish that and having been part of those wins that have been so, key to Iowa State.
It's fun to be a part of something like that. And, Campbell, we all love him. So honored and proud to have been played for him. But he wouldn't. I mean, this is a cool thing for fans and us to talk about, but that's not what he's worried about at the end of the day. But to be a player of Coach Campbell's, I'm happy for him, proud of him. He deserves it. So it's a really cool thing because, Iowa State is known for, Dan McCarney and everything he's done for the university and the football team. And Campbell's right there with him now. So it's pretty cool to be able to say you played in a big part of Iowa State University's football legacy.
Yeah, I think it's just incredible. It doesn't surprise me from every time that you get to get around Campbell, from first time being recruited by him, and just who he is, how he is consistent, right? He's able to set the tone for the program, and the only reason this program has been able to be consistent is because Coach Campbell shows up every day that way. But obviously, it's an incredible thing, incredible feat for Iowa State to have, and then obviously Coach Campbell. But I think what's even more impactful, obviously the wins are huge, but one thing that I always remember Coach Campbell saying was, when you get recruited by him, use the next 4 to 5 years as a football player to set your life up for the next 40 to 50 years. And that's exactly what Coach Campbell does, right? He's building himself a legacy by making an impact on young people's lives. So I think that's kudos to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have said everything. I think Coach Campbell obviously will go down in the history books at Iowa State just for how he kind of just turned it around, changed the culture. I mean, we were all part of the change. We all were recruited by Coach Campbell, and like New said, he was really just not necessarily worried about the next 4 years for us, 4 or 5 years for us. He was worried about the long haul and just being there for us as a father figure. And he was a great guy to be able to go and talk to just when things weren't always going the best, and also a great coach to have push you and try and bring the best out of you. So definitely Iowa State's got a good one. Coach Campbell will, hopefully we can get him that record next week.
Yes, sir.
Right. Take care of business.
I bet not a lot of people think he would have made it to that mark, a couple years back with all the coaching carousel stuff and, that kind of thing. But we knew as players, I mean, he loves Iowa State. He loves Ames. He loves the people, the community. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, it's funny because in the post-game press conference, his answer when he was asked about it was exactly what you expect. Like, he very much was, deflecting from it. Like, he was kind of downplaying it, is what Rob Gray wrote. But he said, this is not about any individual. To be able to be at one place with so many great people for as long as I have, I'm just grateful for that. And then he wanted to dive right back into the team's potential heading into Big 12 action.
That's about right. That's about right.
So
absolutely.
So as we've been saying, I know for myself, I've been ready to get into Big 12 competition since the moment the Iowa game was over, just because that's where my brain's at. Would love to know what you guys are thinking as you look at how the Big 12 is looking. I can tell you all the rankings as of right now for Big 12. You have Utah ranked number 10, Iowa State's 18, and then Oklahoma State is 20, BYU's 22, and K-State is 23. And yesterday we saw, I don't know if you guys watched all the Big 12 games, but Kansas State and Oklahoma State lost on Saturday. And then you had Utah, who obviously top of the conference right now, had a good game. BYU took out the Kansas State Wildcats. That was a fun one. I don't know if you watched that. I did.
I watched the punt return.
That punt return was nuts.
Crazy. Nuts.
Yeah. So would love to know if you guys, how much have you been deep diving into how the Big 12 is looking? I mean, who was it? Cincinnati crushed. Gosh, who was it?
Houston.
I'm blanking.
Houston.
What'd you say? Okay, I was going to say. Yeah. So thoughts on that? Thoughts on the Big 12?
Colorado beat Baylor last night.
Oh, yeah.
That was a wild game.
That was a wild one.
I'm excited. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be a fun year in the Big 12.
Post Texas OU.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's really any given Saturday, anyone can win in the Big 12. So it doesn't matter, if you're like next week. Houston's 1-3, I believe now. But it's a night game in Houston. That's going to be a tough game. It's kind of funny. I was thinking about our game last year against BYU, night game in Campbell the whole week. I was just like, this place is. He's almost saying it's really hard to win at BYU at night, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, it can't be. They're not that good this year. And then I saw that last night with K-State. I'm like, oh my gosh, it is hard to win there. And I was like, but yeah, overall, Big 12 is going to be crazy. I'm excited to get into it. Utah is obviously a really good team to go down into Stillwater and win that game. That's a big time win, especially for your first couple Big 12 games. Big time win. So, but everyone controls their own destiny, which makes it so much more fun. Iowa State controls their own destiny. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it. It's a level playing field. I mean, obviously Utah is the favorite right now. They go down to Stillwater and win, which is a hard place to win at. But yeah, it's 0-0. Everyone's record in the Big 12 right now. Well, I guess a couple of teams have played now, but for Iowa State, we're 0-0 in the Big 12, and we get an opportunity to go out there and see what we can do here. So consistency obviously is going to be the key in a race where it's going to be a really level battle. A lot of teams that can beat each other on any given Saturday, kind of like Remy talked about. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see some of these new teams in the Big 12 that we get to go out and face. It's always kind of one of those things, as you've played a while, not every stadium you go to is the first time you're going there anymore. But we certainly have some of those situations where we're going to be first times playing a team and then first times being at their stadium. So just getting used to that, getting used to the stadium, getting used to what their culture is. Like Texas Tech, no one knew until you go down there that they throw tortillas at you during kickoffs. So it's getting used to those situations like that. If any school has any unique things that they do for a game, or like, holy buckets, what are we getting into here? So
locker rooms.
Oh
yeah. My gosh. Oh, there's some bad ones in the Big 12, and it makes a.
What was your favorite one in the Big 12?
Oh, Baylor TCU.
Yeah, Baylor's is huge.
Baylor's is big. TCU is big. There's some really bad ones though. I mean, Oklahoma State is really tight. So is Texas Tech.
Texas Tech is really small,
and that can make a difference. Like you get in that locker room and you're trying to, get ready for a game, and you're just bumping into guys.
Kansas is terrible too.
Yeah, Kansas was bad, but they got Airhead this year for Kansas, so I don't know.
They're big time.
It must be a nice visiting locker room over there, I guess. It's NFL, but yeah, the locker rooms, man. It'll be interesting. Because we've never been to like Houston or I don't know some of our other road games this year. But the first couple steps in the locker room, everyone's always judging, like, "Ooh, how much space do we have?"
Especially as big guys, we're like, I hope that it's a big locker room. We can have a locker in between us or something.
They always put the O-line just in this tight little corner, and you're like, "Oh, I just hope there's that one locker space in between me and someone."
Yeah, everyone's sweating before we even get dressed.
Yep.
New environments is going to be crazy, especially with this new Big 12. So just going in and not like you said, Noel, like not being known on what's going on and what happens during the games. It's kind of just different, especially when when I was a freshman going to those games, I was looking around because I had never been in other college. I had never been to a college game other than some of the visits that I had taken. So just going and seeing some of those games, especially at night, it's just going to be a different atmosphere that you're just going to have to adapt to.
It does make it fun, though. I mean, going into other stadiums, it for sure. I thought road games were awesome. I thought they were so much fun because you just get to see other places, the history behind other places. Like I remember going to for instance, Texas Tech with the Chiefs playing tonight. That's what I was thinking of. I'm like, oh my gosh, Patrick Mahomes played here one day, and it's just kind of cool to kind of do things like that. You see college football history, so.
Yeah, going into Norman was cool. Going into Texas, Oklahoma State with their paddles, like it gets loud there.
Oh yeah,
things like that.
Going to Texas is fun.
Yeah, there's so many cool things that different like schools do and some of their traditions that like, hey, this is just gonna be a part of the game.
I remember Oklahoma had all the pictures of their past players and stuff, and the visiting locker room and all their stats and national championships and stuff like that. My dad is a big old time football fan, so he would always talk about the Boz. And I remember seeing a picture of the Boz, and that actually kind of got me fired up. I'm like, oh, that's kind of sick. Like, this is Oklahoma. Let's go.
Oklahoma throws the ball out of the stadium.
Yeah,
all those things.
Do you guys wish you could be playing in this, like playing in this new Big 12 against new teams?
Yes and no.
Yeah,
yes and no. I mean, it's always fun to play like we're saying, new teams and stuff, but it was also fun playing against Texas and Oklahoma. So there's goods, there's also negatives to it, but
yeah, it's fun to go into Oklahoma and Texas and say that we were able to go there and beat them at home too for both of those teams too. So
yeah, I don't think I ever beat Oklahoma at Oklahoma, so I can't say that one. But Texas at Texas. Yeah.
Now,
We got that one, Jake.
one of the other negatives would be going down to Arizona and it'd be like, I don't know,
Hot.
100 some degrees. That would be awful. So,
It's like going to Baylor early in the season.
oh, awful.
Oh my gosh.
Awful. I don't know what it is about Baylor. It's always hot there. Although
it's
last year it
miserable.
was raining, which was really clutch.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. You remember when Foster burned his feet on
Yeah.
Baylor's
Oh my
turf?
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh
He
my
was
Literally
gosh.
blistered.
Yeah, he
Blistered.
before every game he would walk
my
around with no
gosh.
socks on, and he walked on their turf with no socks on and straight burnt his feet.
Yeah.
Blistered. Like skin coming off the bottom of his feet, everything.
I remember Sheldon's the bottom of Sheldon's cleats melted.
Melted. Yeah.
What? That's insane.
He had to cut his cleats off at halftime.
That's insane. I would not want to go there.
It's not
Good to
fun.
know.
Yeah, it's not fun.
And that was also the game they didn't give us the tents.
Oh, yeah.
The infamous
And how about
game.
what was it, 2021 when we didn't have hotel rooms?
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
went down
gosh,
there,
that was
and the
bad.
hotel rooms were like they literally had, the
Bro.
hotel had been closed.
It was
We get
it
there,
was
and they're,
getting
like, putting
renovated
beds
or something.
together. Yeah,
It smelled like paint. It was
Shit
it was
show.
bad.
There wasn't toilets in the bathrooms.
Yeah, it was
There
bad.
wasn't beds. There wasn't beds in there.
So what'd you end up doing?
Well,
They
they
had,
eventually
like rush.
We went
they
to dinner
rushed,
and waited until they did all they needed to do.
I'm pretty sure some
Oh
of the
my
people staying with us like went to a different hotel because they're
Yeah,
like, we
some
just
like
don't
the-
have enough stuff ready to we don't have all the beds here to even be ready for you.
Yeah, some like the equipment staff and support staff had to go to a different hotel, I'm pretty sure. But those are the
That's
stories
crazy.
you remember, that's for sure.
Yeah, memes.
One thing I think, just kind of going into Big 12 play, obviously getting consistent pressure on the quarterback too. Yesterday, 3 sacks, 8 sacks on the season. Being able for us to get after the quarterback a little bit is going to be, I feel like, a huge part of the success that we have. Obviously, we know the back half of our defense is huge and can really make some big plays. I think us being able to consistently get out the quarterback here in Big 12 play is going to be a huge factor in the success that we have.
Yeah, and on
Yeah,
the
it's gonna
contrary,
start
you know,
in the trenches.
Yep. On the contrary, we gotta protect the quarterback. So I thought the O-line yesterday played actually really well. It was really cool to see Jalen Travis out there. I thought he looked really good.
Yeah,
I
he's
tried to watch huge, and he looks like a good player. So we'll be interesting to see how he progresses. And the competition of the O-line is really deep right now, which I don't think we've really ever had. You really see a lot of guys go in and out, especially in that first half, and they don't miss a beat. So it's really fun to see that competition, and that gives you confidence that by the time it's those last 2 games of the year, Utah, K-State, Arrowhead with Kansas, when November football comes around, championship football, you're gonna have your best O-line out there. So it's really cool to see a lot of those guys. I know Morrow, who's still getting reps, and he still looks really well. Trevor Burr is a young guy that got in there, and he did really well as well. So it's cool to see those guys competing, and they look really good. I mean, we ran the ball really efficiently yesterday, and a couple of them, the running backs didn't even get touched. So until a safety, and that's always a win. But yeah, getting after quarterback, protecting the quarterback, that's what Big 12 play is. So it's one in the trenches. Everyone's got talent at the skill positions. We might be a little biased now here, but everyone has good skill players. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the league. So let's win the trenches.
I think a huge shout out goes to those tight ends too. They blocked like
absolutely.
crazy yesterday.
Steve-O's a maniac out there, and I love it.
And Tyler Moore on that first touchdown rush had a humongous block. It was an awesome block there, and I just think that he got rewarded later. He got his own touchdown too. So
Absolutely,
I love
certainly
seeing
one of
us
those
in the
things.
13.
Yeah, we were so big. We're going to go in there and play bully ball on you and rush for 237 or something like that. So
right.
I thought tight ends played great. I thought offensive line moved the ball. It was great to see the number of running backs roll to play too. Just have guys out there be fresh as we enter Big 12 play with hopefully limited injuries.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how that running back room shakes out here as we go along, because there's a lot of guys getting a lot of carries, and I don't really, at least this is like my fan self talking now, I don't even really know who's going to get the workhorse of those reps. Jirehl might have a better opinion on this, but I mean, they're all really good. Like
Yeah.
they move well. That Jalen Jackson guy is.
I like him a lot.
Really
I like him
shifty.
a lot.
And they said on the broadcast that he's probably the best pure runner in the running back room, and they're not wrong. Like I think he is, like, just his movements, how he reads, how he sets up his runs. Like I think he's the best pure runner. Abu's just a freak, and I think when he gets the ball, who knows what he's going to do with it. He can make a play in an instant. But we just have to, I think, as a running back room, and they're probably preaching the same thing, just get to their reads better. Press the point of attack, press it, get the linebackers moving. And there was a lot of times in that game where I thought they could have cut it back a couple of times, backside A-gap, and had a few that could have went for a couple more yards than they did. But other than that, I mean, Carson Hansen had a really good game. I thought he really came out of his shell in that game, and the O-line did a really good job of opening up holes and letting them get in the end zone 2 times.
That was my thought too. Is Carson Hansen? That's the first game where I watched him play where I'm like, oh yeah, he really he can be a dude for us.
Same. I completely agree.
And
he
then
runs
Dylan
really
Lee
hard.
even had a few couple of runs.
Young guy.
Touchdown too, right?
Yeah, touchdown. He had a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So many touchdowns, we don't even know who scored.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun when it happens like that.
That's the best part, man. It's
Yeah.
better that we have it that way, other than we know nobody scored.
Yeah, it is more fun that way. I was impressed with I know he had that one pick, but Connor Moberly is, I thought he commanded the offense pretty well. He can move really well. Looks like we have a couple different play types for him. Some read stuff, some stuff like that, but it's pretty cool to see a young guy like come in like that. And he looks confident out there. So that was cool as well.
He even looked like he made a couple checks under center type situation thing.
I know, right?
He was like they had the whole playbook open for him, so that was cool to see him go out there. Obviously, the interception was kind of a fluky deal too,
Right
off the hands.
Happens.
And then Carson with the pick, right? With the forced fumble right there.
Right.
I loved it.
Play hard.
I loved it. It's some stuff that you see in college football.
Well, the fun's about to begin, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Iowa State's going to take on Houston. Game's at 6 p.m. It was announced. So we have our first night game for first Big 12 game of the season. And we will be back like every week, and we'll be talking about how Iowa State performs in that game. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited to see how they do on the road. Any final thoughts from you guys as we close this thing out?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Get on the road, playing a night game. Those are always fun. Good to start Big 12 play. Hopefully we can carry this momentum that we've built in these first 3 games into Big 12 play. And in all honesty, we should have a couple games here where we can continue to build that momentum. We go to Houston, obviously. Hopefully that goes well, and then we come back with Baylor. So a good couple first games of Big 12 play where we should continue to build momentum. But as we were saying, you never know what's going to happen in the Big 12. So
get to 1-0 in Big 12 and get Coach Campbell that record.
Got to go
up in there and walk in your trap, take over your trap. You gotta do.
You already know Campbell's going to play that pregame on or Friday night.
Trap,
yeah,
take over your trap.
Campbell buys into those little things like that.
Bro,
like,
you remember what was it? It was 2019, I think, that he played the same song at practice every day.
Yeah.
Oh, he loves those themes, man. It was the Rocky IV soundtrack. The Rocky IV soundtrack.
No, I'm not even talking about
there's
that.
Some there.
What
I know
was
what you're
the
talking
other
about.
one?
Oh yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about.
I forgot about that song. Yeah.
I don't know how you can.
Bro, we were at practice.
Yeah.
He played the same song every day, all day. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just on a loop?
On a loop.
Yep.
On a loop.
That's the only song that we listened to
Only
for a whole
song.
week.
Only song he played for a whole week.
I'm gonna listen to that to work tomorrow.
But it was funny because we
Yeah.
would go home. We would go home in our apartment and turn the song on too. It just started bumping it too.
We're gonna have a reunion one day, and it's the first song that's gonna be played at our reunion.
It's the only song we're gonna play.
Only song. The whole reunion. It's gonna be on repeat.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will be back, like I said, next week to talk about Iowa State Houston. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Wyffels Hybrids, and of course, Iowa State
Shout out
University
Wyffels.
Ivy College of Business, who also offer an extensive amount of awesome degrees that you can get. You guys are so funny. For people who aren't watching the stream, Jirehl just has his thumbs up for this.
I got a
But yes.
business Ivy College business degree.
Great program, man.
I do as well.
They have great
What was your
professors.
degrees in?
Business management.
Yeah.
I took sales classes over there, and the best professors I've ever had on the Iowa State campus.
Absolutely.
Be
College
like Iowa
business.
State football players. Get a Ivy College of Business degree.
Do it.
Thanks for listening, guys.
See you guys.